So, it's been quite a while since the last game I played, and apparently this game needs a warning because it's suitable for all ages. We're playing Mr. Driller. Why has it taken me like 3 weeks since the last upload? It's because I tried to do an RPG. Which RPG? It doesn't matter. RPGs take forever, and just doing a straight recording, especially a straight blind recording, doesn't really pan out. I'm going to need to figure out something different for the super long games that I've never played before. I don't really want to play like a 50-hour game twice. That seems a bit excessive, even if it's the best game ever. Anyway, this is just a short arcade game made by Namco in 1999, and I want to say that I absolutely love it. Let's start with the 25, let's start with this. It's really easy, well, it's not really easy, but it's really simple. Just dig. Just dig and don't get crushed. It reminds me a lot of Tetris Plus, if you ever played that. Although it's not quite the same, but it does remind me of it. And the next Tetris, too, because blocks of similar colors will get stuck to each other. And you're supposed to use that mechanic to your advantage to not get crushed. The game is incredibly fast-paced, and it's an introduction. I have never played this before I picked up the book. I've never even heard of it. It's an arcade game that came out in 1999, which is... I don't know if it's after arcades were dying, but it was... Yeah, if you get crushed, you lose a life. You have 3 of them. It definitely came out towards the tail ends of the arcade craze, when consoles were starting to take over arcade games, because they finally had the power to really go toe-to-toe with them. I don't know if this one had a console release, but I am playing the arcade version. At least the main version, so. And yeah, your goal is to get to a certain point, 2,500 feet or 5,000 feet, depending. Now, unlike most arcade games, you can actually beat this one. Eventually, I guess you can break the chocolate blocks. I don't think they're actually made of chocolate. I'm just going to call them chocolate because that's what they look like to me. And if you run out of air, you also die. Like, it's a challenging game, but it's just really fun, and we're going to keep falling until something happens, I guess. I don't think there's fall damage. No. Okay, good. Like, this is the kind of stuff that I'm looking for in the book. Just weird, quirky little things that are really, really fun that I've never heard of before. Or at least the first 2, because I've heard of a lot of games. Ah, no! Now, technically, you can beat this game, but with most arcade games, even ones you can beat, the point really isn't to beat the game. Recommended for beginners, recommended for advanced players. Let's try it. Yeah. There's virtually no difference, just how deep you have to go, and I guess the graphics of the blocks. I like the aesthetic of the advanced player mode more. So this is the one I usually do play. And yeah, I practiced with this a bit, not lately, but I played it before based on the book's recommendation. I'm not going to say this is going to enrich my life in any incredible way, but it's just fun, and I really do enjoy it. It's simple and it's addictive, like an arcade game should be. I am going to run out of air. Whew, that was close. Seems like they have really good forgiving hit detection. That's perfect. And you can walk up blocks like stairs. Sounds like it's a really bad idea to be at the edge. Go, 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 go. Keep going. No, don't want to go that way. the game really asks you to determine which paths are the best and safest to take. And you really need to think on the fly, because these things fall quickly. If you don't, you get squished. Go, 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 go. Next time, I think I'm going to play Drill Dozer, which is another introduction, another really interesting game that the book introduced me to. Although that one's a bit longer. I haven't actually beat it because that's a Game Boy Advance game with the definitive ending and story and everything. We'll get to it when we get to it. But I do like to play games with similar names back to back, just because it feels more complete. That was my bad. But when you die, you're completely refilled on air, which I needed. And if blocks go off screen, apparently they disappear, which is really good. If you dig fast enough, you're not going to be crushed by the thing right above you. That was close, that was close. This next level thing, it does not refill your air. Good to know. Falling! We are falling! And I lose. In Stage 2 color, don't panic. Take it easy. Yeah, I know. Game over. Let's try, see if I could beat the 25-foot challenge. 2,500 feet. At the start, the idea is to go as straight as possible for as long as possible. Only getting out of the way when you need air when you run into chocolate blocks. And just keep going down. Keep going down. Alright. I'm just having a lot of fun. I mean, it's not... I don't like it more than Joust, for instance, but yeah, this one is definitely up there in arcade games. Like, it might be top 10 worthy for me. Even though, yes, I keep getting squished. Yeah, so I guess we can get back to the basics of what I was doing in the meantime. I was trying to play through Skies of Arcadia Legends, or Skies of Arcadia. Any version is one in the book. I went with the Legends version. But it was just taking so long, and I was playing it blind because I'd never played Skies of Arcadia before, and I'm not a very good blind commentator on a game that long. Like, this is simple. You can pick up what it's about in 5 minutes. But a huge, long plot, like, I don't think that's to my advantage. I prefer making videos like the Ocarina of Time one, where I just go through it and talk about the ins and outs. But to do that with Skies of Arcadia, according to How Long to Beat, it takes 40 hours, and if I was to never play a game blind, it would have to be... I would have to dedicate 80 hours, which is nonsense. Like, I mean, I'm assuming it's good enough to be worth playing twice, but still, that's still very long, and we're out of air. Oh, we're getting really close. I love the encouragement here. You've done pretty well so far. You may clear it next time. I guess that may be a way to convince the audience to keep pumping in quarters, but still. I do love games that encourage you. And I do kind of miss when games encourage you to keep playing instead of annoying you every hour to turn the game off. Like when you close down Baldur's Gate, it asks you if Foo will miss you, that kind of shit. I'm a sucker for that kind of shit. But yeah, Skies of Arcadia Legends is the game I was trying to get through. I'm pretty sure it's a yes. Like, it's one of the most famous RPGs of all time. And I'm going to say right now, yes, I hadn't played it. And still, I haven't gotten very far into it. Because I'm not really an RPG aficionado. I never really grew up with them, besides Pokemon and Super Mario RPG. I mean, I played a lot of action RPGs and whatever you'd call Baldur's Gate. That's not really an action RPG, and it's not turn-based either. But turn-based RPGs, no, it's not really something I'm into, especially because there are certain trappings of the genre that I don't like. Like, turn-based combat is usually boring. Like, it's hard to make it interesting unless you get as far away from the concept as possible. It was popularized by Dragon Quest, which was a game that was designed to be as tedious as possible. Not to mention that most turn-based RPGs force grinding. And grinding is the stupidest concept that has ever plagued video games. I have no idea why anybody would want to put in grinding into their game, except to force longevity. I get it can be kind of meditative to keep pressing the same buttons over and over and over again. But the act of going against the same random enemies again and again and again, and trying to just press the same buttons again and again and again, that's impossible to make entertaining, and every video game that it's in makes it worse. RPGs, turn-based RPGs seem to be, the better they are, depends entirely on getting away from their conventions. Like, Super Mario RPG gets rid of grinding by having these power stars that just automatically win battles that you run through. Pokemon at least communicates an incentive to grind. If you grind enough, you get more powerful Pokemon. Because in any other genre, it's just this. It's so alien if that's your primary genre. Like, no other genre stops you at, say, a boss, and forces you to go back into the level and just keep killing random enemies. That's why I always had a problem even with the RPGs that I did have. Because usually when I get to a point when I got to a boss that I couldn't get through in any other genre, how you got through was you kept fighting the boss until you won. That's it. I mean, why would the game force you to go back to an area you've already played? An area that you were apparently done with? And to make matters worse, most turn-based RPGs, their strongest asset is their stories. Stopping the plot entirely to grind is just so counter to them. And I will definitely be having to talk about... I will definitely hold these biases back when I am going into RPGs. But I am definitely going to be giving special praise to games that get rid of these annoying conventions. Like, if we're going for, say, an FPS, does it make sense to have you kill, like, force you to kill 25,000 regular enemies before you can face the boss of the level? And on top of that, make it take longer to kill each individual enemy. I don't know, that's my rant over. I would definitely be talking about this while playing an RPG, because they take so long to beat, but I need to talk about something now. I've talked about pretty much everything that exists in this game. But yeah, and I want to make it clear that these things are not why it's taking me forever to actually get to an RPG. It's taking me so long to get to an RPG because they're long as shit. Even really, really short ones, like Super Mario RPG. The fastest I've beaten that game is in 10 hours. And yes, with the lazy shell and the lazy armor, but still, 10 hours. With an item that basically makes it cheap as shit. Chrono Trigger is known as being really good because it's really short. That's one of its assets. And it takes 15 hours. Ocarina of Time took me 12. And I was on that for quite some time. It took me a while to record that. Like, a week. Which is, like I said before, Challenge Accepted is not my top priority, ever. It's never going to be my top priority. Unless it really fucking takes off, which it's not. It's not why people come to me, it's just an extra little bonus. You can make turn-based combat interesting in a sense. Like, I am, like, a fan of Pokemon for a reason, but it took Pokemon years and years to get really interestingly competitive. And they put so much focus into their battle system. Most RPGs, even some of the best of all time, just have standard attacks. Maybe a critical, maybe options to poison or paralyze. That's about it. Special attacks that do elemental damage or more damage or whatever. Just a few basic things, especially early on. Like, that's another weakness of turn-based battles. They only get interesting towards the end of the game. Like, the early battles in Pokemon, they're not interesting at all. They only really get interesting towards the end when you're able to do things competitively. When you have access to all of the moves, instead of just tackling back and forth and maybe throwing in a growl or tail whip every now and again. If you're feeling really daring. And that's bad because the beginning of the game is what needs to hook you. That's where it's got to wow you the most. That's where it's really got to show you how great its mechanics are. I mean, I think the reason why RPGs are known for having, like, the best stories in video games is mostly out of necessity. If they didn't have these amazing epic stories, I think they would have died as a genre. I'm not even gonna lie on that. And sometimes their attempts to make things more interesting kind of make it worse. Like, turn-based battles, I don't like as a concept. Active turn-based battles are absolutely fucking awful. An active turn-based battle is basically like a typical turn-based RPG, except that if you don't press anything long enough, the enemy's going to keep attacking. It's basically real-time turn-based. Which, Like, the only thing the turn-based battles have is the ability to strategize. And when it's active turn-based, when the clock is still going, you can't really think through things very well without taking a shit ton of damage. Which just goes against the whole thing. So, yeah, it's going to be quite a while before I do an RPG. It's probably going to be like a recapped deal. I'm going to play through a game without commentating, and then I'm going to edit down the footage and basically recap it. Something similar to what I did with ActRaiser, although that was live commentary, I just truncated it a lot. For me to do something like that, though, I would have to know how the game plays through. But yeah, I've wanted to play through an RPG, a bunch of them. RPGs that I haven't played. I've played Chrono Trigger, so I know how the game works. I want to be introduced to things. That's kind of the point. I've been playing through games that I know, mostly to just get videos out and to really get my number count up. But the point is to get introduced to new games like Mr. Driller here. So, I want to play the RPGs that I haven't played before. The issue, though, is that almost all of them, they just take 40 fucking hours. Like, before I play any game for this, I take a look at howlongtobeat.com. Like, even if I'm going in blind, that is something that I'm willing to take a look at. I want to know the time investment, but... Like, another game that I wanted to get into, that I wanted to play for this, was Disgaea. That's another 40-hour affair. Hell, even RPGs that I have played before, I'm reluctant to do because of the huge time investment. Okay, air inside chocolates is a trap. And we lose. But yeah, like, I also really wanted to do Morrowind. Morrowind, as far as I know, is my favorite game in the book. But a reason for that is because it's just fun to derp around and do things. Well, there are other issues that I'm going to have with the Morrowind Let's Play. Because I know how to fucking break the game. Like, beyond belief. And that's even without glitches and shit. Glitches make... The glitches in that game, unlike with Skyrim, the glitches add to Morrowind. Like, everyone who's played the console version, at the very least, knows about the Soul Trap glitch. Where you can trick the game into giving you super stats. There is no other word for it. Super stats. Where you just have like 1,000 speed, 10,000 strength, all your skills and all of your stats are just off the roof, off the charts. And you can break potion making and all those kind of things, but those are glitches. Because Morrowind is so large that it's bound to have crazy glitches. Some of them are really fun. Other ones get you stuck on fence posts. But no, I'm not talking about glitches when I'm talking about breaking Morrowind. One thing I know about is the Amulet of Shadows, which is the most awesome item in any video game ever. It's basically the One Ring. I would say it doesn't turn you evil, but it kind of does. It gives you 80% chameleon. In that game, invisibility makes you unseen by the enemies, but if you do anything, like anything at all, the spell wears off immediately. However, chameleon is like invisibility, except you're actually allowed to do stuff. And with the Amulet of Shadows, pretty much nobody can see you. So you're pretty much always able to get the first attack. Always. But the most famous way to break the game is with Creeper. Creeper the Scam, which you could sell things to at 100% value, most things. And with that, you can sell just random generic treasures. And you can use the money to get to train your skills up as far as possible. And with your heightened skills, you could start stealing shit. More and more shit, which allows you to sell them to Creeper, which allows you to keep increasing your skills. Okay, I'm going to... burp. Wish the death animation wasn't so long. Yeah, let's go 5,000, doesn't really matter. But yeah. Oh, come on. Huh, you could attack above you. I wonder. Nope, that's a stupid idea. Yeah, I'm not gonna go all the way with just one life. What does it say, though? Alright. But yeah, with just those simple tricks, Morrowind can be entirely broken. Like, they're not glitches. They're just things you find. So when I play Morrowind, and I have as much fun as possible with Morrowind, I usually go for those kind of things, because it's really fun to become OP. I mean, and actually earn being OP, I should say. Because Skyrim and... well, not Oblivion. Skyrim does allow you to become OP in not really a fun way. This is going to... be interesting, but from what I've played of Skyrim, and I've played a dozen hours, which I understand is not enough to get the full feel of Skyrim, but from the 11 hours that I've played, I do not like Skyrim. I found it boring. And like I said, Morrowind is my favorite game in the book, and I even enjoyed Oblivion, although Oblivion has plenty of issues. Namely, its difficulty. Normally, beating a game at, like, level 1 is, without ever leveling up, is supposed to be a challenge. In Oblivion, that is the only way you can beat the game, by not leveling up past level 2. Seriously, Oblivion has one major issue. Like, just one. And that's... it's got a few, but... the biggest issue is its leveling system. The more powerful you are, the more powerful the enemies get. Exponentially so. So, if you level up incorrectly... like, if you don't level up exactly the way the game intends you to, which is so against the point of an Elder Scrolls game... then you're gonna get your ass kicked by everything repeatedly. So yeah, Whenever I play through Oblivion, I never level up. Ever. And unless I want to get to the Daedric shrines. Luckily, you only need to be level 2 to beat the game. But I generally don't go beyond that. It's not cheating, it's just making the game fucking playable. I don't know, I'm just rambling at this point, talking about other games, which I guess is a sign that I've gone on a bit too long. After this game, we'll see how far I can get. I have no idea why the game keeps saying icky whenever I collect air. Maybe it's what it's called in Japanese. I don't know. Yeah, I don't understand the air in there. It costs you 20 to get to it. And yet, all the air gives you is 20. Squish. Oh yeah, now I get it. Squish. Come on, let's do this, we can make it. That was close. Yeah, I don't think it's possible to earn an extra life in this game. Ever. Oh, that's how you get the extra lives, you combo them. Alright, well, that's enough of Mr. Driller. It's a good game. I'll say yes to it. Only within 30 minutes, but okay.